Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my WrestleMania 41 WWE predictions. Now, real quick note before we begin today's video, I am filming this the Tuesday beforehand, which means I have not seen SmackDown yet, but just in case, I'm going to give my prediction to a couple matches that might be announced on SmackDown. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Alright, in the first match that is very obvious, that technically hasn't been announced yet, but I mean, if it doesn't happen, I know a lot of people will be very upset and a lot more people will be very shocked. But that match is going to be the Viper Randy Orton versus, I'm really not quite sure, whether it's Nick Aldis, Solo Sikoa, Rusev, I've heard Ray Phoenix, Aleister Black. Heck, I even saw an Instagram post earlier about Goldberg. But, I mean, it really doesn't matter who Randy Orton faces. It just sucks what happened to Kevin Owens. But either way, Randy Orton's winning the matchup. There's no way, especially with Backlash in St. Louis, there is no way that the Viper is not walking out with a WrestleMania dub. So personally, I am going to go with Randy Orton walking out with whatever match he has and whatever victory whoever he faces. Hey guys, the next match I think that could be announced is Chelsea Green, the Women's United States Champion, defending against Zelina Vega. We just saw Zelina Vega beat Chelsea Green this past SmackDown via countout, and I really feel like that could lead to a WrestleMania match, if not a match on this coming episode of SmackDown. But to be honest, I really think that if they don't put this on WrestleMania, that it could be real bad for the women's mid-card division. We already see Lyra is not going to be defending her Intercontinental title, so I feel like Chelsea Green almost has to defend her title. But WrestleMania is getting a bit full as it is, so I don't know if they're going to add another women's mid-card match. But if this happens, whether it's on SmackDown or, whether it's at WrestleMania, I feel like Chelsea Green and her and the whole thing fell down. Give me a minute, guys. Sorry about that, but yeah, guys, I do believe that if this matchup gets confirmed, that Chelsea Green and her kind of boring United States title reign will end at the hands of Zelina Vega. I feel like we need a new Women's United States Champion. We need a workhorse Women's United States Champion. I feel like Zelina Vega is the perfect fit to become the second ever Women's United States Champion. And guys, the last match that I feel like could be confirmed right before WrestleMania, probably on the SmackDown before, is the Street Profits versus, and I guess I said, guys, that I'm filming this on a Tuesday. That's because I'm going to be going away for a couple days, so I don't feel like getting out all the figures, but I feel like it's going to be the Street Profits versus DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, Legado del Fantasma, Mello Don't Miz, and Pretty Deadly in a SmackDown Tag Team title ladder match. I feel like, they did the six-pack challenge last year. It was probably my favorite match of night one and probably the best extreme match in a long time. But yeah, and I feel like if this matchup happens, the Street Profits, and I gotta feel bad, the Street Profits just won the belts, but I feel like we take the tag team titles off the Street Profits and we give them to none other than Pretty Deadly. I feel like Pretty Deadly, they've been doing some great work recently, some funny character work, and it's fallen again. You hate to see it. Alright guys, again, sorry about that. I quickly set this up, so I'm not sure how many more times this is going to fall down in the video, but nonetheless, I personally feel like these Street Profits are going to end up dethroned at WrestleMania by one of those teams, and I really feel like Pretty Deadly is the best option. But now, let's go ahead and get into the matches that are actually officially announced for WrestleMania. Alright, in the first match on the real WrestleMania card, well, first of all, guys, if you have not watched my prediction videos in the past, you would know that this action figure right here is what we use for Jacob Fatu until he gets an actual WWE figure. But nonetheless, Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. And I really feel like this might be the easiest match to predict on all of WrestleMania. I feel like LA Knight, similar to Street Profits, even though they just won the championship, nothing is stopping, all gas, no brakes, Jacob Fatu from capturing his first championship in the WWE. I mean, LA Knight, I feel like he's either going to put up a real good fight or he's going to get squashed a la Sami Zayn at last year's SummerSlam. But nonetheless, I mean, there's not really much else to say. I mean, Solo Sikoa could screw over Jacob Fatu, but I mean, it seems like they've somewhat dropped the storyline. I'm really not quite sure what they're doing. Jacob Fatu wasn't even barely featured at all last SmackDown, but nonetheless, Jacob Fatu is walking out the new United States champion. The next match on the card is for the women's tag team titles. We got Liv and Raquel on the left, the current women's tag team champions, and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, who unfortunately doesn't have an action figure yet, at least that I know of. But nonetheless, we got Bayley and Lyra challenging for the tag team titles. This is the most ragtag random duo put together ever, seeing they just fought this past Raw. But nonetheless, they are, I guess, going to be tag team number one contenders. But there is no possible way that I really think Bayley and Lyra rock out the titles. They're not going to put two titles on Lyra. If anything, I feel like Bayley is going to turn on Lyra in the middle of the match. Get Lyra, beat her up for, jealousy, I guess. But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are going to retain their tag team titles. And afterwards, I have no idea what's next. I feel like really these titles should just be dropped. And I feel like the only reason they even won the belts was to get Liv Morgan on WrestleMania. But nonetheless, though, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez are going to retain the tag team titles. And then the next match after that is going to be the phenomenal AJ Styles versus the Maverick, Logan Paul. And I don't know how many of these prediction videos I'm going to do that Logan Paul surprisingly is a part of them. He's been in the Rumble. He's been in the Elimination Chamber. He's already wrestled more matches this year than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has 2. Logan Paul has 3, surprisingly. But nonetheless, however, Logan Paul, AJ Styles, and I really do not want Logan Paul to win, and I feel like there is no point on Logan Paul winning. AJ Styles has already said he's only wrestling until he's 50. This man is already 47. He only has 3 WrestleManias, maybe 4, depending on when his birthday is, but Logan Paul should not win this matchup, and I'm going to predict that AJ Styles wins this matchup. But not only am I going to predict that, but you guys can quote me on this, Kai Cenat is going to be in the prime bottle this year. That's what I'm saying right now. But nonetheless, get this mop head out of here. AJ Styles is winning this matchup. The next matchup on the card, ladies and gentlemen, is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Now, unfortunately, WWE does not make I forgot his name for a second. But they do not make figures of El Grande Americano. However, they do make figures of Chad Gable. And Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are about the same size. So I figured just for this video, we'd put in Chad Gable. And it unfortunately sucks that Chad Gable doesn't have a WrestleMania match, but El Grande Americano does. But anyhow, the Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano at WrestleMania, and this is kind of another one. I'm not sure how many WrestleManias Rey Mysterio has left. I really enjoyed this feud between Rey and El Grande, and I really feel like it's actually been very funny, and I'm surprised it hasn't been made a mask versus mask match yet. But nonetheless, it's good to see Rey do something that's also not with Dom, since this is like his first WrestleMania, I believe, since WrestleMania 35 when he wrestled Samoa Joe, that he has not had Dom at some capacity. But nonetheless, though, I am going to go with the GOAT, Rey Mysterio, to beat El Grande Americano. And then maybe unmask him. I'm not sure who's under the mask. Maybe it's like Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle. I've been told by some people that it's Braun Strowman. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Braun Strowman under that mask. But anyhow, Rey Mysterio is going to walk out with the dub. The next match, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. And this all started, obviously, when Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble. And we got this matchup that, a lot of people have been talking about for about a year now, saying about how it's going to be a dream match. But unfortunately, I don't think WWE could have done a worse job at building this feud between Charlotte and Tiffy. But nonetheless, here we are. We're getting it, I believe, on WrestleMania Saturday. And I hope that it's one hell of a match, similar to Rhea versus Charlotte from a couple years ago. But as much as I hate to say it, I feel like we are going to be crowning a new women's champion this WrestleMania, and I really do not I want Tiffany Stratton to be the underdog, and I want her to walk out with the championship. But unfortunately, when you just look at the landscape, it's going to be Charlotte Flair. And I mean, as much as, nobody wants to see, I don't think there's a person on the planet that wants to see Charlotte Flair miss 0-3 in marriages, walk out with the championship. But nonetheless, Charlotte Flair, I really believe, similar to in real life, she's being stubborn. She doesn't want to hold the belt. But anyhow, though, I think Charlotte Flair is going to walk out with the women's championship. We're going to continue trucking through these matches. The next match is going to be the Sin City Street Fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And trust me, take it from someone who was at Payback in Pittsburgh 2023, the Steel City Street Fight. Those were great matches. Anytime they do a city-themed street fight, it is 99.9% of the time going to be the most fun and the most brutal matchup all night. And this one, I feel like it's going to be no exception. Whether it's going to be chops, steel chairs, tables, no matter what it is, I feel like these guys are going to probably have a bar burner of the matches. But actually, when we get to the predictions of the matchup, I noticed ever since Triple H kind of started booking, 90% of the time, especially at WrestleMania, as long as the championship is not on the line, he lets the babyface win just to kind of get the victory. I mean, you look at like something like Edge versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania 39, or Jay versus Jimmy at last year's WrestleMania. But nonetheless, I feel like Damian Priest is going to walk out with the victory over the Scottish Warrior. He's going to grab him, and he's going to hit him with a South of Heaven, and he is going to put him through a couple of tables, and I feel like he's going to walk away with the dub, and that's going to infuriate Drew McIntyre just a little bit more. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Drew wins. This is another kind of unpredictable matchup. I feel like Priest will be fine if I lost. I don't know about Drew. I mean, he got rolled up by both Usos just in the past couple months. So I feel like Drew will also be fine with a loss, but I feel like if you're going to keep Damian Priest in the main event scene, a WrestleMania victory over Drew McIntyre, officially not in a cash-in, would be perhaps the best way to do it. The next matchup on the card is a Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker, he's got that dogs in him, versus the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Dirty Dominic Mysterio, as well as Penta. And this matchup as well could be very unpredictable, as I think all of these guys, besides Finn Balor, have about a 33.3% chance of winning, which is, if my Steiner math is correct, that is 99.9%, which means I will give Finn Balor that other 0.1% that he somehow wins, but I don't think Finn Balor is going to win. A lot of people are saying that Dom's going to pin Finn after the new member of the Judgment Day gets involved. Penta, obviously, he's on a roll. He can win this matchup as well. But what I've noticed, and especially recently here, is that Triple H loves to just give us these weird retentions of championships where it's like, wow, you really think, the title should have changed hands here, and it didn't. So I think what is going to happen is Dom's going to try and screw Balor in, getting the new Judgment Day member, whoever it is. Balor is not going to like that. Braun Breaker is going to jump in the ring, spear Dom, then spear Finn, and pin Finn Balor to walk out and successfully retain the Intercontinental Championship. And I think he's just going to keep running through this division out, taking many losses at all as the champion. Next matchup on the card is for the WWE Tag Team World Championships, and it is the War Raiders, who desperately need new action figures, defending against your boys, the New Day, in a tag team match. Now, similar to most of the matches on WrestleMania, there's rumors surrounding all of them about perhaps Big E returning, getting physical, and taking out the New Day and getting rid of, the fact that they ditched him a while ago, and, he can move on his own. But I do not think that is going to happen. I think we have seen the last of Big E in the ring for a while, or else they really probably wouldn't have gotten rid of him in the New Day to begin with, and they would have probably just let him be the manager. But nonetheless, though, I think the War Raiders are going to lose the tag team titles. There's really not many other tag teams besides the Judgment Day, which is falling apart, and maybe the Creed brothers that could take the tag team titles off of the War Raiders. So I feel like we shouldn't overcomplicate things. We get the New Day, perhaps the greatest tag team of WWE history, and they're going to walk out with, I believe, their 12th World Tag Team title. Next up, we have the first women's non-title singles match in WWE in 19 years between Bianca Belair's former tag team partners, Naomi and Jade Cargill, and they have done a 100% great Emmy Award winning, just great opportunity that WWE's done with this feud, and they have took the ball and ran with it. This has been an excellent feud, and I really feel like they could end up stealing the show. But now we got to go and get into the predictions. And this one, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Naomi, as much as I love Naomi, well, Jade is actually falling down, but no, Jade is going to win the matchup. Naomi is not going to walk out for WrestleMania win, or at least not this year, unless she cheats. But I give that like maybe a 5% chance that she cheats. But I feel like this is Jade Cargill's big moment, her first singles match at WrestleMania. So I really feel like this is, Naomi, she's a stepping stone. They could easily run this feud for another couple weeks or another couple months. But, Jade either pull the Jade or pull the Cody maneuver on Jade where she beats her 3 times in a row, like Cody beats Seth 3 times in a row. Or, let them go back and forth for a little bit. Let Naomi get a couple victories. Let Jade get a couple victories. Maybe end it at SummerSlam. But for right now, WrestleMania, it is going to be Jade Cargill walking out with the dub. Next, we get into the big 4 matches at WrestleMania. And this one is only in the big 4 for 2 reasons. One, the fact that it's the world title. And second of all, because of the sacrifice Jimmy Uso made for us a couple Raws ago. But anyhow, though, this is for the World Heavyweight title. Now, it feels like deja vu. It feels like we're going back to Saturday Night's Main Event when I predicted this the last time. And I predicted correctly that Gunther was going to successfully retain against Main Event Jey Uso, but a lot has changed since then. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso beat Austin Theory with a crossbody in like 12 seconds, and now he's on his way to WrestleMania. And this time around, I feel like Gunther is going to be toppled. Main Event Jey Uso this time is going to walk out with the World Championship. I feel like this is his time. If it's not now, it's never. If Jey Uso does not walk out with the dub come WrestleMania, then it is never happening. I hate to say it, but nonetheless, Jey Uso, Gunther, they might not have the best match of all time, but I feel like they could have one of the best moments of all time with Jimmy maybe returning to help Jay, and then the Usos celebrating in the ring of Jey Uso finally getting his moment, bring down that confetti. I'm predicting Main Event Jey Uso. Yeet. Next match up is for the WWE Women's World Championship between Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. And similarly to Naomi and Jade Cargill, they have done an excellent time with this feud. They had a segment on Raw a couple days ago where it started with Bianca, and she was talking about how she was right. And, I was kind of one of those people booing Bianca beforehand. But after she's talking, I'm like, yeah, she's kind of right. Now I kind of want her to win. But then Rhea gave her side of the story. I'm like, no, I think Rhea's going to win. But, then Io came out and she did her whole entire story in Japanese. And I feel like now Io's going to win. So it's definitely been a bounce all over the place. I mean, heck, I predicted Io Sky was going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. She didn't. I predicted Bianca Belair was going to win the Chamber. She did. But I never predicted that Io was going to beat Rhea before WrestleMania and give us this, triple threat match. But nonetheless, the triple threat match is going to be confirmed. And these are perhaps my 3 favorite women in all of WWE right now. And Bianca Belair, she's on her 4-0 WrestleMania streak. And obviously I'm not including the Battle Royal because, screw Battle Royals at WrestleMania. But I'm saying, unfortunately, she's going to lose that streak. And at the same time, I am also going to predict that mommy, Rhea Ripley, is going to lose her WrestleMania streak because she is also 3-0 for people that, I guess, no, she is not 3-0. My bad, I forgot about WrestleMania 36, like most people do. But anyhow, yeah, I believe Io Sky, perhaps the best women's wrestler in the world, is going to retain the women's championship, and she is going to walk out and perhaps, enter in a feud with Dakota Kai or someone else. But I think Io Sky is going to walk out with the women's world championship. Next up is a triple threat match for the custody of Paul Heyman. The winner of this triple threat match gets to be Paul Heyman's wise man. And obviously, though, that is not what is happening. But this matchup is heavily favored by Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, who is too wide to fit in the camera shot, is going to choose. Whether that is the straight edge superstar CM Punk, the tribal chief Roman Reigns, or Seth frickin' Rollins. And I really think, with this being the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, they're definitely going to pull out everything. Steel steps, announce table breaks, going through barricades, moving up turnbuckles. Paul Heyman at one point is going to be, oh my God, screaming, doing whatever, running around the ring, doing Paul Heyman things. But now I have to do the hardest thing of this whole video and make the prediction for this matchup, because we could easily see Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins together, Paul Heyman and the favor CM Punk, or Paul Heyman remains loyal to the tribal chief. But the question is, though, who am I going to predict to win the matchup? And it's very difficult, I gotta say, but at the end of the day, I feel like we are going to get a swerve. I feel like Paul Heyman is going to turn on CM Punk. Roman Reigns is going to turn heel again. We're going to see Seth Rollins hit Roman Reigns with the steel chair like he did on Raw. Roman Reigns is going to be down. Seth is going to have Roman up Punk is going to have Seth up for the go to sleep. Roman Reigns is going to spear CM Punk. Rollins is going to roll out of the ring, and Roman is going to pin Punk after distraction by Paul Heyman. And we are going to see both these bozos laying on the ground as perhaps the greatest WrestleMania performer ever walks out with his wise man. And those ones will be up as we all acknowledge the tribal chief. Completely unbiased, though. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the main event of WrestleMania. If you guys are still watching this video, I want to go ahead and first of all, comment down below who you think is going to walk out with the WrestleMania victory. Also, like and subscribe. We are decently close to 300 subscribers, and you guys know that I'm most likely going to do something stupid like a 300 level death run or beating 300 different wrestlers, doing whatever. But nonetheless, we are at the main event. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and everybody else, the internet wrestling fans, the people in the arena, everybody is saying that John Cena is going to walk out with the victory. And I really feel like he could. John Cena, holding the belt hostage, keeping it. Everybody wants a crack at him. But I feel like Cody Rhodes, because there's two ways this could go. Either Cody wins and Cena moves on. He gets even more and more desperate. He starts blaming The Rock. Maybe he never wins the 17th world title. Or he wins the 17th world title and goes on a heel run. And I feel like I'd enjoy both as equal as equal as the other. And as much as I want to say Cody Rhodes, as much as I want Cody Rhodes to win, this is a prediction video to see who is going to walk out. And I want to get as many right as possible. So as much as it pains me, considering I was one of the guys buying t-shirts and reposting on Twitter, we want Cody, but nonetheless, I feel like this is where the American Nightmare dies, and we see heel John Cena walking out with the WWE title. We got to put that on properly, a la CM Punk back at All In. But nonetheless here, John Cena is going to walk out with the WWE title. He's going to win his 17th, and he is going to walk out with the WWE Championship. And that is going to be it for my 2025 WrestleMania 41 prediction matches. I hope I didn't miss any, because this has taken me almost an hour and a half to film. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it. If any more matches get added to SmackDown, then or get added at WrestleMania on SmackDown that I already didn't predict, you know, maybe I'll go ahead and make a short or something. But till next time, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you really want, because I don't care. But, you know, a couple extra subscribers wouldn't hurt. But yeah, guys, till the next video, I will see you guys next time.